So today I'm going to teach you how to make these holiday charms, and I have a much longer version of this class on my YouTube channel as well. I just try to do a quick and dirty class for the holidays. I know we're all short on time. So to do this class, you're going to need some Mod Podge. I'm just using the matte. Don't go out and buy anything different. Whatever you have, that's fine too. Even Elmer's glue would work. Next, you need a brush, and then you need a box of epoxy or resin. Next, you need some pendant trays, and I'm going to show you where I get them on Amazon, but here you can see you have different sizes. These are 25 millimeter or 1 inch, but they come in any size you want. And you also need a hole punch. So make sure that you buy the same size hole punch as you do charm. So I'm using a 1 inch punch for a 1 inch charm. So next you need some images, and I'm using some circle images actually that I have on my Etsy shop, but you don't need those. Anything that you can think of that will fit in that circle, like maybe a picture of your child or a favorite sentimental card, will work. So I'm pausing real quick just to show you an Amazon page. I just look for the best prices that day, but they're super affordable, $13 for 100 pieces. Or if you'd like the glass dome on top, if you're afraid of resin, that's an option too. And moving on here, you can see that you can get your chain affordably on Amazon as well. So for the circle images, if you'd like to purchase them, you can find almost anything you're interested in on Etsy. So here's just some random shots I took, and then upcoming here is my personal other Etsy page if you like the images you see today. So the next step is pretty simple. I'm just going to take my punch and cut those images. And again, if you're using like a greeting card or a picture of your child, just center it in the middle of that punch and get a good cut on it. So after you get all your images cut, you're going to take your Mod Podge and you're going to work it into the bottom of your pendant tray, and go ahead and put it in there kind of thick. If it seeps up the edges, that's actually good because we really want to seal that image into the piece. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of these ready at one time. And again, be generous. If it comes up the side and it goes over your images, it will dry and be invisible. You won't even see it. So now we're just going to get those images in the tray. So just line it up with a bail on top so it's not crooked and push it in there. And again, if that glue seeps out the side, that's fine. And I always take the end of my paintbrush and I kind of force it in there. So I've let those dry, and now I'm coming back and I'm putting Mod Podge actually over the image. So you will be able to see through it once it dries. It's not a big deal. And I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to force it into the edges. We really want to seal that image in. And the reason you want to do that is when you put the resin on top, if it gets underneath that image or it seeps into the image, it might come out fuzzy. So be generous. It will all dry and you won't even see it. Okay, this is how it looks after about 15 minutes. It's halfway dry, so you can see they're clearing up. In about a half hour, they'll be done. So now it's time to work with your epoxy, and when you open that box, you'll have 2 bottles that come. One is the hardener, so you're going to put an equal amount in each cup, and your epoxy should come with these like little medicine cups with measurements on the side, just like you're dosing medicine, so you can get it exact. I tend to just kind of eyeball it. So we're going to get this other one in here. I'm going to try to get as close as I can. I might need to add more. But do take the time to get it correct so that it does harden correctly. You don't want to end up with sticky charms at the end, which has happened to me before, I know. So now you mix the epoxy. It's as simple as that. You just pour 1 cup into the other. And really try to get it all out of there. You want to use every bit because remember, you want to keep this even. Okay, so I'm just going to stir it. You really want to get it well mixed. And it will look a little foggy and even sometimes bubbly depending on the temperature of your room. So I'm just going to pour it back into the other cup. Again, this is a good way to make sure that you're getting every bit of that epoxy in equal amounts. You just pour it back and forth between the cups a time or two, and that usually does the trick. Okay, we're ready to pour the resin, and I'm showing you a side image of these pendants because some of them are at an angle depending on how the hanging hardware looks. So I'm just going to put them on a penny to make them perfectly even, and that will prevent any resin from draining off accidentally. And see, the snowflake, it's flat. I won't have to do that. But these other ones, they're slightly tipped. You don't want your resin to run off. So I'm going to get those all set up and we'll start pouring. Okay, so you can either take that cup and just pour it right over your image, or I like to take a little popsicle stick and kind of work it in. And notice I'm working on a piece of parchment paper, so if I make any spills, it's easy cleanup. So I'm just kind of working this into the edges, and once I have everything covered, I'll kind of put a big dollop right on top in the middle, and that will give me a nice dome. So that 1 cup of resin goes a long way, so I'm going to go ahead and speed this up and fill a bunch of charms. So I'm showing you a close-up view of these, and if you look closely, you can see some bubbles on top, and that's totally normal when you're working with this product. So you can handle it a few different ways. You could take a straw and just blow those off. Now they might rise up again. You might have to do that a couple times. Just don't wait too long, because once the resin sets, they're stuck. Other people like to apply heat. Whatever works for you, just make sure you follow the directions on your package. So the next step is easy. You just leave them alone. Let them sit on that parchment paper for 24 hours. Do not poke them. Do not move them. Just walk away and leave them alone. And within 24 hours, you'll have a nice, hard, durable surface. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson and try them on your own.